بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome all of you wherever you are. I welcome you again with your program Fatwa Live, and this is the first part that comes to you from Mishkah University. The first question is: the marriage uh, is the marriage after in the Sheikh, is it correct? Uh, because there's no declaration to everybody, and sometimes I feel like it's not having the meaning of the marriage. The 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 actual there's a fatwa in the Amja. It says that the as known as the Urfi marriage, it is a marriage that has no documentation. It is a marriage but with no documentation, which creates a problem. But it is a full marriage. It has all its parts, all conditions. But you have to be careful because that will lead to misuse and abuse, and some abuse of the rights of others. And if there is anything in it that is void the marriage, then it is voided. But what is known here in the United States, that we ask the person who wants to get married to bring the marriage license. So everything will be documented. He have to bring it to the masjid. It will go with the due date. The sometimes it's 72 hours that you have. There's a waiting period, and then he bring it to the masjid, and we in the masjid we'll bring him. We do the marriage, the Islamic marriage, and then with that documentation, he has to go back to the court, and it will be documented in court. So in both your Islamic marriage and a civilian marriage, that is documented in the marriage, it has to go through the law system. This is what we advise for at all the times. And we do not accept any marriage inside the masjid on the papers of the masjid except to follow the law of the state or follow the law of the land. Because there is a map on how you're going to stop any conflict in the future, only by having everything documented in court. Second thing, can you imagine paradise and the hellfire in your imagination? You don't draw it, just to imagine it in your brain. Think about it, contemplate about it. And it's going to be shortcoming of what is really, and there is no doubt. It's just like the companion who said to the Prophet ﷺ, I I am a believer because I saw the believers, they are visiting each other, and the disbelievers are complaining about each other. The answer, if it is just to contemplate, I hope there is nothing wrong with that, because that will increase in your faith. Because Allah said, no soul will know what is hidden for it from the gain a big reward that Allah has prepared for those who work for it, for paradise. And Allah said, I have prepared for my righteous servants what an eye did not see, no ear has heard, and it didn't even imagine on a heart of any human being. Abu Hurairah said, read if you want, and he mentioned the ayah. But at the Day of Judgment, Allah talked about the torment that He prepared for the disbelievers, about the clothes that is cut for them, how they are poured, all this fire and all this difficult and very harsh punishment, torment for those who disbelieve, those who do wrong, and they're not believers. And at the same time, On the opposite side, Allah Azza wa Jal has prepared something of beautiful to the believers, as we have mentioned. So it's okay to contemplate about the hellfire and paradise, but you need to know and be certain. Whatever you might think about, the reality will be far further than what you could imagine, and you can't get to what Allah has prepared and what He created. The second question: if somebody did something and he is not sure whether it is disbelief or just a sin, is that a disbelief? If you even have that, the way that you ask my brother, you obviously you have the difficulty with the whispering of the shaitan. May Allah heal you. Stay away from the disbelief and the sinning. Make sure you stay away from anything that will uh, upset your Lord about you. You are you're taking a chance with your soul in this life and in the hereafter, in your life and in the hereafter. Because whomever disbelieves Allah and he go beyond Allah's boundaries, he will be in the hellfire eternally. And but to make the sin as it's not a sin, that is disbelief in Allah. This the denial. You know that something is haram, is forbidden, that Allah and His Messenger have forbidden it, but you're stubbornly fighting it with your own logic instead of the reality of what Allah has made permissible and not permissible. Or he is putting down what Allah Azza wa Jal made something permissible and he considered it illiteracy and going backwards and uncivilized. These are two different types of disbelief because you denied, because Allah said those who have denied our signs and they are arrogant on it, the heavens gate will not be open for them and they will not enter paradise until the camel will go through the needle eye. The second type, this is the arrogance of disbelief because Iblis, he refused and he was arrogant. He did not deny Allah's order because Allah Azza wa Jal gave him direct talk. To order him, he told him to prostrate directly. So he said, I will prostrate for who you have created from mud. I'm better than him. This arrogance that he had, this on Allah, and he refused, and he was arrogant, and he was among the disbelievers. That's why Allah told him, leave it, and you're going to be stoned, and you have my curse until the day of judgment. And anything beyond that, either with ignorance or have a mistake or force. And we have the rule that if we saw a matter that could take disbelief with 99 ways and one that is safe, we will take it on safety. That we don't put people as disbelievers, we don't put them in the to fall. And we ask Allah, if you are just like you described, that Allah will wipe you with His healing hand and to combine to you the goodness. And we have a link about all the whispering of the shaitan that I hope that you will look at it and benefit from it. The other question, whomever has wild imagination, he looks at movies and he look at things that are disbelief in Allah, where they put angels and Allah Azza wa Jal, and about all types of imagination that you see nowadays in the movies. He he just enjoy looking at the imagination. Does he get disbelief? This is sickness. This is imagination, sick imagination, and the wrong enjoyment that you should not be indulgent into. because this is something that is making fun of Allah Azza wa Jal and His message and His religion and His science. And Allah said in the Quran that if you hear the signs of Allah are disbelieved in it and making fun of, don't stay with those until they start talking about something else. Otherwise, you'll be out like them. Allah will gather the hypocrites and the disbelievers in the day of judgment. Allah said, if you see those who are making fun of our sons, then stay away from them until they start talking about something else. And if the shaitan makes you forget, then don't stay with the disbelievers again. So stay away from this trap of the shaitan. So you will really get the shaitan have the handle over you. The other question, I joined the club. This is my first experience. I don't know how the paying after the, and I know there is a company that takes interest on the money, but for payments and installments. Well, the financial riba for buying services or products is not allowed except there is a need, and the club that you're talking about is not necessarily where the life will stop on it. And this is from the clear riba that will multiply the and I looked into the calculator. It's going to multiply or increase. You say 110 is going to be 228. But there is a way out that this company, they buy the the membership in wholesale and they sell the wholesale. I mean the membership. So they take a good wholesale price from the company, that club or that fitness center, and and they take it from what is forbidden by adding interest on money, and to be selling the service, because this is selling and the other one is loan. Another question, a man that has a problem with his brother and he swore to divorce his wife if and that he will never talk to him or make and after people got involved he agreed to make peace with his brother. Is there a kafara he needs to do? First, before we talk about the divorce, we tell you your brother, whomever don't have a brother is like someone who has no going to war with no weapons. Fear Allah Azza wa Jal, my brothers. You need to fix what's the relationship, because this is not the person who who continue his kin is the one who always give back of what of some of the favors people do to him. No, it's the opposite. The one who always keep with his kinship, even if they sever the relationship with him. You know what is better than fasting and praying and charity? He said to fix the problem between people, because the correction, because creating a problem between people is the one that's going to burn, it will shave the religion. It's not going to shave the hair, it's going to shave the religion out of the body. So fear Allah Azza wa Jalla and fix the relationship between y'all. And whomever forgave and he did good, then his reward on Allah Azza wa Jalla. The rule, my son. There is a poetry that the Sheikh is talking about, that if my relative took uh, my flesh, I'll give them more to eat. And I will never get mad at them or have hatred against them. So this is very important introduction of fixing people's relation. But to talk about the swearing with divorce, what we have made the fatwa according to the Amja, that you are look at the person of what his intention is. What did he mean? If he meant the divorce happens, if there's any dispute, then it is a divorce. If it is just to stop somebody from doing something, then it means that he's gonna say. And this is what he is followed Allah saying that the kafar for it is to feed 10 of your the needy, or put clothes on them, or to free a slave. And if you can't find, then to fast 3 days. This is the kafar of your swearing, if you have swear, and protect your own swearing. That's how Allah is showing you His signs, so you might remember. In the document of Sharia about swearing by divorce, the swearing of divorce does not happen when you swear, unless you really want the truth that you're going to divorce. But if he did not, just to restrict, then it is you have to do the kafara. I take this, my son. My brother swear on Allah, and he found something better. Let him make the kafara on his. So don't make your swearing to Allah Azza wa Jal. The to keep your swearing to Allah Azza wa Jal, it is worse to Allah Azza wa Jal, because He have allowed you to free yourself from your swearing. Allah said, and don't make Allah Azza wa Jal as exposed to you or a reason to stop the goodness. If you are good, if you do the good, it is Allah who wants you to, not want you to do the opposite. Because the hadith says, whoever did swear by Allah, and if he found something better, let him do what is better and make the kafara for it. The question is the idda for those who are don't have her period. Well, she caused the period, no matter how, she have to be patient for 3 periods until she is purified, until there's hadith, I don't know the truth not about people, they don't nothing perfect except isolated witnesses. That in the secular society who don't do what are required, but they're still Muslims. Well, I'm glad you asked this question. This question, my son, what you talked about in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told us there will be time on people. The carpets of Islam will be thrown, and then there will be no ayah in the Book of Allah. And there is another part narration that the Islam will fail or fade just like the dress. And you don't know what is your fasting or prayers or charity. And will he be asked about the Book of Allah? And it will be taken, and there will be not even an ayah on earth. There will be few people on earth. The elder will say, We came to our forefathers on this word, so we say it, La ilaha illallah. But they don't have any. So Hudayfa said in the hadith, what good would La ilaha illallah do to them? And they have no, their prayers or fasting, charity. So he was quiet. So he repeated twice. He said a third one. He said it will save them from the hellfire, O Salah. And he repeated 3 times. The morality of this hadith, that when you're asked about the book of Allah and nothing is left, so nobody knows what is the prayers or charity or anything. So there'll be few people. The elder and he will say, we found our fathers and forefathers on this word that we still say it and we don't know the meaning. La ilaha illallah. So whoever had the long age until see that kind of period and nothing in the book of Allah, a single ayah, and we have no knowledge of Islam except a statement they have inherited from their family. But in nowadays, so alhamdulillah, there is still internet that has billions of sources of Islamic sources, so you could learn. And so this is different of what the hadith says. But in general, my brother, that Allah does not forgive that He will be with partners, but He forgive anything beyond that, if He wish. Those who commit a sin and without this putting partner with Allah, they are under Allah's mercy. Either He will have mercy on them and not punish them, or He will punish them. All matters is in the hand of Allah. Is there the right of the wife on her husband to not to look at others? That's the right that Allah Azza wa Jal, that's Allah's right, because He said the men to lower their gaze, lower their sight, not to look at other sexes. Also Allah said the same thing about the believer woman, and not to show their garments except what is exposed, and to cover their private parts. And this is the right of Allah, not the right of the husband or wife. This is Allah's order. This is Allah's right on you to lower your gaze, to lower your sight, not to look except what Allah has told you. And the right of the woman that she will put the hijab. And that's better, that there will be known and then they will be hurt. And to indulge with men with no reason, it is the right of Allah. Just like you take care of your wife and you care about what happens, you need to protect the hereafter. You protect what is needed for her principles in life. Because it's not just for her to survive this life, but to survive the hereafter, which is more important. And you cannot do that when you are disobedience to Allah. You are violating Allah's rules. So don't look at the right of the husband or the wife. They both have rights, and the one who put this right, it is Allah the Almighty. So we started the Quran, O Prophet, tell your wife, and who said that? It is Allah. He said, give your daughters and the believer woman to cover their, so they will not be known. He don't expose, and he don't want to pay for his alimony, and Well, I mean, you're telling me about the. And I cannot settle a dispute just because I listen to one part. If a person divorces his wife, Allah Azza wa Jal will put him accountable if he misused or abused his rights. The divorce, it is definitely a legal avenue, and Allah said, if they obeyed you, so do not exceed on them. Allah is way. The obedient wife. um, so if they obeyed you, don't put away in front of them except Allah. So mention these, there's indication. So if you are the husband thinking that you are Ali over your wife, know that Allah is higher. And if you thought that Allah is great, Allah is greater. And there's no hand except Allah's hand is on top of it, and no one transgressed that Allah don't see him, capable of him. So this is a religion. In divorce and court, Allah said the divorcee, they have rights. The first one, the return of whatever his sadaq, and to pay the inflation percentage. Today is almost zero. And she get the same expenditure in the divorce, and she also get the custody rights and custody, because if you to bring a babysitter or his kids, he have to pay a lot of money. So the woman who have taken upon her to take care of her kids, she get the money compensate for her uh, raising the kids, and she get the mut'ach, a gift, and depends on the capability of each person. And this is to uh, help the feelings, emotions for the divorce. And in Egypt, they said it's the expenditure of 2 years, or could go to 5, and they put it on the what they thought, what the judge might think that he has bonded her and he has covered her right. So with all of that, all these rights, Allah Azza wa Jal said, and if they disperse, Allah will give each one from His giving. Praises to Allah Azza wa Jal. So we came to the conclusion of the first part. Inshallah, we'll continue in a couple of hours. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.